Major Music.
What's good? Back with another episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast. Joining me today is an artist from Baltimore, Maryland by the name of Luable, who's going to stop by and talk to us about some of the recent projects that he's been working on. I actually got a chance to check him out. Now, he was referred to me by a past guest, D Skills, also an artist out of Baltimore. So shout out to D Skills as well for referring Luable to the podcast. I got a chance to check out some of his tracks, which we're gonna get into, as well as his social media page. I see that he's very consistent with his performances and his shows, and just how he's continuously engaged with his fans. And that's also a conversation I like to have with other artists that come on the podcast. If this is your first time checking this podcast out, I like to talk to independent artists as well as music producers about some of the projects that they're working on. For example, if you're a content creator, do you get any major placements in the film or television industry with your music? Maybe you've worked with a major artist. That's all stories we want to hear on the Major Music Lounge podcast, as well as just about the independent hip-hop grind, how all these artists move, and just behind the scenes, a different way to connect with their fans as well. And from the producer standpoint, I talked about placements, also content creators, sound designers, app developers. You can follow me on Instagram at d._major music, as well as on TikTok, and then on X, d.mme. Now let's go ahead and get into it. I'd like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by Baltimore hip-hop artist Luable. What's good, my brother?
What's good? How you doing? How you feeling?
Oh man, definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. I know we've been crossing paths, and good to finally get a chance to have the conversation. And also, I want to shout out D Skills because D Skills referred you to the podcast. So, definitely
Yeah,
shout out a past guest on the podcast. Well, what's good with you?
man. Just living life, man. All praises to the Most High, man. Just taking every opportunity and just rolling with it. Just making lemons. You feel what I'm saying? Lemonade or lemonade, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Lemons
Lemonade
out of
out of
lemon.
lemons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
In case
That's
in Baltimore terms, making chicken boxes out of nothing.
shit. Man, so, tell us a little bit about how did you started creating music? Like, who are some of your influences?
Music is universal, so it's not really just one type of genre that produces something. Because I can just make music in the lunchroom. We can make music by walking. Everything has a sound, and frequency. So what really inspired me to really like do music was I would say Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson and baseball, because baseball has a rhythm and timing and it's a mental thing. And Michael Jackson, he's just a phenomenal artist. I have my big cousin, big guy. He owns Love and Hip Hop on every Tuesdays, and my uncle used to have records in his basement. He used to have a studio named DJ Bird. He just got nominated or a certificate for being the best DJ or something like that in Baltimore, and got recognized for that. And just being around vinyl records and just a lot of oldies but goodies, it just produced that soul in me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Michael Jackson for one. Um, I think I had my last guest, in fact, said one of the same things. Michael Jackson was a big influence. And then, I mean, ironically, like tying into even like yesterday's Super Bowl, a lot of people with Usher's performance kind of made me think. I heard some people refer to him as kind of like a modern day Michael Jackson, just from the standpoint of the fact that he's been around since like the 90s and he's still doing it. And I could kind of see that, but Michael Jackson has a heavy influence on the industry. And just you talked about just drawing inspiration from different genres of music, and that's kind of what hip hop in some ways is a microcosm of like blues, like jazz, like rock, even to some degree. You hear a lot of hip hop music, sampled and influenced by other genres. So I think hip hop kind of borrows from other genres like that, and that could help, definitely influence you as well. So I can totally understand from that standpoint. Now, are you just an artist or are you produce too?
I mean, I can make beats here and there, and I mean, I'm an artist. I could play some instruments. Mainly the acoustic. I could play the guitar a little bit
All
here and
right, all
there,
right.
but mainly my instrument is my voice. I mean, and got away with words. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm a producer and an artist, but I mean, I play the trumpet. I could play a couple of brass instruments, in fact, and I just I'm about to kind of step back into just doing music production, but it's a different side from being a producer and an artist. I feel like sometimes like even the ability to write, though I may or being able to create beats, should I say, you're able to sometimes pivot and be able to produce whenever you need to. At the end of the day, maybe you have a certain concept in your head you want to get out, but you're not finding the right beat for it. So, why not try your hand at making it yourself?
Yeah, like I was sitting down in the studio session with Skills, and he was just showing. 'Cause I never knew how to like sample. You know what I mean? And the process of sampling. I mean, I learned from like the '90s. They took 1970s, all the old. I wouldn't say all of vintage records and flipped them into hip hop. So that's why I say it goes hand in hand, because without the soul, there wouldn't be no ODB, because all he did was sing, saying old, old oldies but goodies. But that's the essence right there of soul. That's where I feel like hip hop isn't like giving a lot of creation. It's just trap music, trap this, trap that, but it's good, because it's getting a lot of people paid, quote unquote, and a lot of people had the artistry, but there's no soul in it no more. Like when you hear my music, and when you like get the character of me, you actually hear soul, pain, you actually hear struggle, you actually hear coming up, you actually have just a lot of things. Like you can fit in my shoes. I'll put you in a place where if you listen to my record, oh, I feel like I'm in Baltimore right now, chilling on a bus stop, only got like $100 in his pocket, but I know that aggressor gonna come around the corner tomorrow or the next day. But I keep pushing, coming from a cruddy city like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right about that. A lot of the music don't have no soul, even kind of going back to like R&B, for example. And I feel like a lot of people are creating music these days, and it's almost like a microwave society. I'm not saying that in some cases there isn't a lot of work being put into some of these records, but at the same time, it's kind of like artists might drop something this month, and 2, 3, 4 months down the line, they on to a new project. And it's like, how well are a lot of these songs and projects thought out, for the artists and a label standpoint, or is the label going out and telling them, hey, just continue to make music and put out albums because you're under contract for X amount of albums, so you gotta go ahead and put that out to fulfill your project, and they're just gonna get in the lab and do whatever they need to do. If it sound good to the label and the consumer, they're gonna keep releasing it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah, yeah, I feel you. Because just watching like artist interviews, and cause, a lot of people taking an independent route. We don't need actual record labels to push artists in a sense, because only like say for example a local artist, in order for a local artist to get on the mainstream, he had to put more for his own money out of pocket, show up to open mics, show up to every single cipher, show up to every single thing, like to put him in a position where though if you have a label, All you gotta do is come up with an image, and they can just fund that engine behind you, without no real artist development or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, yep. Man, yeah, speaking just of music in general and listening to some of your stuff, because I got a chance to click some of the links on your Instagram. I got a chance to listen to a song, I Wonder, Laura Shady, and then Nobody. Got a chance to listen to those three records. And just I noticed you got a lot of range. You had some material kind of sound a little down southish, but some, sound East Coast, like old school hip hop, boom bap type of flow. What goes into your thought process when you're creating? Like, how do you go about choosing your instrumentals? Do you work directly with a producer? Do you maybe go online and like listen to, I don't know, producers, beat stars, or wherever they posting their beats? Like, what goes into your creative side in terms of, okay, I want to choose this type of beat for this song?
I ain't gonna. That's probably what I eat in the morning. Know what I mean? So if I eat an apple, I probably want to do. It's all about how I start my day off and how I perceive, like my art. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I could come up with. I wouldn't be rapping about nothing happy because it's raining right now, or nothing like saying like nothing like sad or like suicidal. But I would come up with something like uh I said like this: every verse I spit, man, it comes from the heart, trying to uplift my brothers, get that mind out the dark. I would think about that, and I would use that as my past experiences. Now with the beats, it don't really matter, but I understand that it's a cadence to a beat. You can't hit some conscious. I mean, not saying you can't, but you can't like do conscious rap and hype, 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 hype. You know what I'm saying? And so how I choose the beats, I don't know. I love soul music. I love trap music because a lot of inspiration come from Gucci, Jeezy, Lil Wayne, Yo Gotti, Boosie, and then I have a other artistry which is like the boom bap era, like Mobb Deep, Jadakiss. Well, when I mean Jadakiss, I mean the Locks, I mean DMX, I mean Rough Riders, all of them, Hove. And, that they also are inspirations that programmed inside me. So it's just like a mixture. And I'm from Baltimore, so it ain't like I'm from the West Coast or from New York or from Florida. Like I'm right in the middle of the mixture of everything. And then Baltimore club mix,
Yeah.
So it's always different sounds, different samples that K Swift, rest in peace, her lovely lady. Know what I mean? That just that just built inside of me. And I guess I'm glad that I'm from Baltimore because I have a mixture of all that. I'm not categorized in one area.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, and it's been that way for a while, that there's there's culture, all across the country, and it's good for the industry. But I also think that the lines in between each of these cultures, or each of these like regions of our country, is kind of blurred, because like yourself, you rap over a lot of like trap instrumentals, like as you were saying. I've always liked a lot of East Coast production growing up, like a lot of whole production with um Just Blaze, way back. And then when he was working with Kanye for a little while, he did some work with the Neptunes. And then I've always also like a lot of West Coast production, of course, Dre, DJ Quick. But yeah, I think that a lot of artists they're crossing over, and they're finding just different ways to not only reinvent themselves, but kind of like yourself. I said you're very diverse in terms of the way that you pick your beats and do a lot of your music. And I like that as an artist. I think everybody should try it. Uh, one of the things that I do personally is every couple of years I might change my sound. Something that people might know me traditionally for, I might go in a completely different direction. And I think every artist should kind of experiment that way. So definitely that's one of the things keep up as an artist. And then the other thing, man, I noticed, you did a lot of shows, and I looked at some of your posts from some of your past performances. How important to you do you think that getting footage from shows or maybe even studio sessions are a great way to connect with the fans and people that listen to your music. Other than because I know a lot of guys they're releasing music, but they're not engaged on social media. They don't have really anything up on YouTube, and to me, that's a big part of being an artist and a creator in 2024.
It's just being real with yourself. A lot of people, like I said, a lot of people don't just get Pro Tools and feel like they make they make money. There's no heart, there's no soul in the soul. Not saying that I got record every single thing like what I ate this morning. Y'all fans, look at me, I
Yeah,
just ate
yeah,
this. But no, the process of seeing like the actual come up, because that was my era. Seeing my people in the studio sessions and seeing them on YouTube having the beefs, having all the stuff, not always like the bad stuff that's documented, but their process, they're going like just regular human stuff. Like people are taking this social media and running with it as a life engine. Whereas though I can connect with fans without having a social awkwardness because I know how to connect with people. One, because before I'm a rapper, before I'm a poet and stuff like that, I'm a father first, God fearing man. Know what I mean? So that right there gives me an essence of the ability of purpose. I don't just rap with no purpose.
yeah,
People just rap that purpose is to get paid, not
yeah.
to connect with their fans, not to do shows when they quote unquote get either paid for or that manager tell them to. Like I don't mind going to open mics. I don't mind going on live and showing people my process because they will really see the organic in my music and they be like, wow, yo, what just eat oodles and noodles in the studio and he just rapped about oodles and noodles. Know what I mean? Like it's a real authentic thing that people don't really lack. And I think social media, it's a good thing with social media, but also it just portrays a wrong image of people because be off the social media and all that, what do they have to show for? Know what I mean? Even with me, people can see my process of moving. People can see my process of my downfalls. Like people only show their winnings. Like I show my downfalls. I show when everything. Not to say I'm getting glorified in it because I don't get nothing in this world but the glory of God. But just to see that we are still human beings and we still have like inspiration. I get inspired. I don't just get lit in the studio and go from there. Like I'm inspired by open mics, by people's come ups. I'm inspired by going to homeless shelters, going to daycare centers. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing like the rawness of life, and just that will give me more of a push and an inspiration.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, a lot of people use social media for the wrong things. They may try to flex, by doing something. Maybe they're in the studio and they say they're working on a song and they shoot a lot of studio footage and we never hear up ending hearing the music at the end of the day, or they may just post a little bit too much that not having to do with them being an artist, just other stuff on their social accounts. And, that's your right, but there are good and bad things that come with that, of course. And it, sometimes goes back to the conversation we had earlier about the quality of music that's coming out because that and not in every case, but that could be reflected in the music that they're creating. Maybe it's not anything that fans can relate to because people gravitate towards whatever they could relate to. And a lot of people, create these images on these records and they're trying to post this stuff, but they have other stuff going on that might not, they don't want to put out there. And it's like you say, we got to post some of the good things about life and some of the bad things about life because, bad things, you might be able to help somebody. One, if it's something that they're going through, but two, to show that human side of yourself. And you never know how that might even make it easier for somebody to talk to you. So I definitely agree with you on that, man. Let's talk a little bit about, D skills because he referred you to me. Like, how far do you guys go back?
Um, we met like officially because we probably been in the same room, but probably never like actually had a real conversation because I always knew if you familiar with Black Chakra.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I knew him for many years. Like that's my good brother. We real solid, and he always told me that I rap. So once I found out that, well, let me tell you the story because it's a real short story. I was on social media and I was finally feeling like, all right, the boom bap rapping, like that's my lane right now. That's what I'm flourishing in. Not going to stay in that lane, but that's just really like a lot of community, and it's a community there. Instead of just going out to these, because I used to go to all of these clubs and try to sound like everybody else to an extent, but still my way, and not really fulfilling who I am. So one day, I'm on social media and I hit up I hit up that page DBL Records, and they said, "Yo, come to the Moose House." It was this a dude named Dope Soul, and I came down there, played my music. He was like, "Yo, where have you been at?" I said, "Yo, I just been around." So he said, "Yo, come to Freestyle Fridays at the Portal." And I said, "Freestyle Friday, okay." So by break freestyle, finally I can find where Cypher's at. Finally, I can find where actually hip hop is really based at, because it was challenging me to find the real hip hop community and go there Friday. I met Skills, politic for a little bit. I went up, I spit my 992 song. That went crazy because that 992 song was really like a throwaway to me in a sense. Because, like I said, I wasn't doing the boom bap like that. And ever since then, he just been having me come around. We pulled up to Morgan together. He had me at his show, the 215 to 410 collective. I had opened up for him. And ever since then, we just built the brotherhood, man. And it's just, if he win, I win, and if I win, he win, man. And basically, everybody he knew, I knew before. We just had never clicked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. D Skills definitely good people. He's been on the podcast twice, and just always like having conversations with that brother. And one of the things I always tell Skills is I got a touchdown in Baltimore, never been before, but I gotta just come out and
Where you
check out.
from?
I'm from well, right now I'm living in Dallas, but
Oh,
I'm originally from Louisiana.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, and no, okay, all right, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I grew up in Louisiana, man. So I've been in Dallas though for a while, like since like '04. And
Mm.
yeah, just kind of made this home. But yeah, man, speak about that though, the Baltimore music scene, because like you mentioned open mics. I go, down here, I go to some of the open mics here sometimes, not only to perform, but just check out some of the new faces, because I've been doing this for a while and it's just kind of changed. Of course, it's a more younger crowd now, at least over here. But I just like to go and connect with some of the younger up and coming artists and see if we could possibly work together and collab. But what's the music scene like in Baltimore right now?
I mean, it's good. You know, I would say it's oversaturated. A lot of people that's don't get a lot of opportunity here. So that's for anybody. Like we really gotta leave Baltimore just to come back if you're not on the same wavelength as Baltimore right now. Like it's now it's just like, it's mainly, but basically mainly it was really just dancing. We known for arts and Baltimore club mix. We're not really known for quote unquote rapping like that until the rappers started coming up. But yeah, I mean it's cool to my extent. I still find life here and there, but far as though like opportunity is real limit opportunity because they're stuck in one thing.
Yeah,
Their mind is stuck in one way of thinking. They're not appreciative of the Baltimore hip hop scene as the dance, the hip rocking music. That's what they call it, hip rocking music. Like, you go to New York, they embrace all of it. Even though I say like the drill was something that they embrace, but they embrace all of it because it's New York. Baltimore, we'll just embrace only stuff that's relevant to the times that's going on now, and then it's going to be done away with, and something new comes.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But as far as hip hop here, we starting to see the hip hop scene grow more in a collective. Shout out to OG Press Magazine. They really covered a lot of the underground hip hop scenes and some of the major scenes too. And that's just that gave us more of an outlook and more of a push to bring more of the community together in the hip hop scene, you know. Cause I'm in the hip hop scene, man. I'm in the where you authentic at, regardless if you do poetry, trap, soul, blues,
Yeah,
reggaeton, just be embracing about everybody's artistry. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's it. For real, for
yeah.
real. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, man. Kind of the same here. Well, more so like what you said reminded me of my hometown is like they're they have a certain way of doing things where I'm from in Louisiana. And it's a lot of dance music that gets very popular. In fact, I come from the city where, for example, like the Cupid Shuffle got popular, Lafayette, Louisiana.
Mm,
In fact, I went to school with that cat. I went to school with that cat. And
mm.
like it's not necessarily like along those lines, but there's a whole like I guess subgenre of hip hop and R&B that a lot of people like in there. So if you have a different style, you might have to go to another city and connect with some other people. And I came here to Dallas to really, I guess, to get my start with music years ago and build a lot of relationships. And of course, things changed since then. The social media blew up, different ways to connect with people online. So that opened up even more opportunities. But I totally feel you on that. In fact, like and I hope to even connect with these skills and yourself, you come down as well. But I think that came out to like H Town a year or two ago, and they did a show. And I didn't know that. I think that was in fact right before Skills was on one of the shows. And I was like, man, if I would have knew, I would have pulled up out there in H-Town because that's like 3 hours away. But yeah, man, it's always good to go to another city, link up with some other people. Um, and that's one of the good things I like about going to open mics as well, because I see artists even come to Dallas all the way from like Denver, Seattle. I met a guy from Seattle one time, met a guy from, back in New Orleans, in fact. And it just kind of seems like it's been a melting pot for other artists, and it's definitely a spot for producers. I meet hella producers here in Dallas. But for a lot of people to connect. Even sometimes they'll have like music conferences out here and stuff that we go to. But yeah, man, totally feel you on that, man. Totally feel you on that. Getting to other
and
cities.
and it's like, you know, it's not like you, because the Bible say a prophet is not loved in his own town. You know what I'm saying? We are not loved here because it's like, yo, I see you every day. Like, what's new about Lou Buggy? Unless if I pull up in a Porsche or start having jewelry on, I like, bro, I just live it. I'm considered local because this is my living condition. You feel what I'm saying? It's not that I my destination. My destination is not just Baltimore. Like, I love my city. Everywhere I go, I represent my city to the fullest. But I just don't. I'm just not going to be stationed here all my life. You feel what I'm saying? Like, put me anywhere on God's green earth, I triple my worth. Where's the J Royale? Shout out to J Royale. Um, yo, the world is big, man. And I learned. I know some people that I don't know. My stuff keep going in. My fault. Um, I know some people, man, that's just stuck and just like on the streets. Like, he ain't never been nowhere but only on the block. He probably been to Virginia, probably been like, you know, on the DMV, DC and all that, but he haven't experienced life in Maine, you know, the fields in Ohio, like countryside in Ohio, and going to the West Coast. Like, and I guess that's where a lot of people get stuck at in their artistry because they stay in one spot. Like, God ain't just put one person in one spot. If you do, that's cool. But if he gives you talents and he wants you to multiply your talents, he gave one person 20, it came with 40. He gave one person 10, it came with 20. He gave one person 5, he gave him 5. He gave one person 1. he kept that and saved it. And he said, "Why didn't you double it?" You feel what I'm saying? Because he was trying to save it because maybe people are don't know how to, interact with people. Maybe people are scared to take risks and they don't have a leap of faith. But I guess that's one thing. Like, I'm glad these skills talking about. It's like, yo, you ever been to Dallas? I said, I only been to Texas, the airport, but I ain't ever been like that. It's that admire the culture, stay there for a week, and then come back with something brand new. They're inspired. And I guess that's where a lot of local artists, tend to get comfortable at. They cool with being local. They cool with being the guy that just raps and got local, here and there for that community. But the world is big, man. The
Yeah,
world is big.
yeah, man. What you got on deck for? I know we just in February, but any plans for like the remainder of 2024?
Oh man, Lou Boogie and the Dummies Volume 1, man. It's a mixtape, man. People don't love mixtapes no more, man. Lou Boogie and the Dummies. Now, what I mean by the dummies, it's just it's the way I talk. It's the way we talk. We don't call people dummy as in like we're insulting you. It's really at we're trying to give you some admiration. If I say, "Oh, what's up, yo? What's up with you, stupid?" Like, I'm actually saying, "How you doing, young man?" But yeah, it's Lou Boogie and the Dummies, man. It's a mixtape. Cause I was supposed to drop my last drop ever on a project scale was in 2017, and that was like around the time where I really was like taking care of life. I put music on the hold because life was more important than just hopping on records and spending money here and there with no good direction. Just building up more of my artistry, merch. Like I said, Baltimore Black Sox, my album coming soon. That's what inspired, like I said, baseball. I'm gonna send you the album cover. I wish I'd have sent you an email so you can see it. Shout out to Mr. Wright for the design. Shows here and there. Still working, still eating check boxes of Uzu noodles. 2024 ain't gonna stop me from doing that. But just giving out more music and being more active on the scene.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna definitely look out for that, and feel free to send me some of your joints, whenever as well. I say I checked out.
Did you check the ones in the email? My fault for cutting you off, God.
No, no, I didn't get a chance to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna check those out after the show. And I just went on. In fact, I think you had did something the Lou for dummies. I think I saw something about that.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
posted it. Yeah, just giving people the heads up, like, hey, the mixtape's getting done. Got some real heavy hitters on there. I mean, Baltimore hitters, but I'm also getting some people from PG County, people from California, and just growing. It's just like a mixtape, So if people say like it ain't gonna be like mixtape where those like '06 style, like you can't
yeah,
hear the
yeah,
muffles and all that. It's gonna be clean. It's gonna be a clean mix, but it's not gonna be like something that I will put all my time in. Like, I can make music here and there, but it's not like I ain't gonna put the effort. You're gonna see effort, But it's a mixtape, It's something to listen to, man. And don't care about the streams. Don't really care about the money from it because I'm gonna make CDs out of this. I'm gonna make merch out of this. I'm gonna do more than just making it a mixtape. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
That's definitely the vision.
I'm
You know
definitely
what I
gonna
mean?
be looking out for that, man. What kind of shout outs do you have?
Shout out, like, what you mean for us?
Any
What,
of your
like people right
people?
now?
Any of your
Oh
people?
man, shout out, yo, shout out to God, shout out to my kids, shout out to my mother. I mean, shout out to D Scales, man. Shout out to OG Press. Shout out to Show Love. Oh yeah, I got Baltimore brand right now, one called Show Love. Why I hate what you show love, we build a relationship. Good peoples from Ayo Boutique. It's a clothing store in Baltimore. Shout out to Ayo. Shout out to my cousins. Lil Dev, everybody that I know and love, man. This they just know who they are, man.
Yeah,
I got
man.
so much people with so much love for everybody.
And where can our listeners and viewers find your work and find you on, social media?
All right, you can find me probably at Lexington Market getting a chicken box, but you probably gonna see me stick around there not too long because it's dangerous and
As long as you give
it's a
me
lot
one.
of people. But no, you can follow me on Instagram at Luable LuableWB. That's Luable, West Baltimore, Luable. Got all my link tree in there. Got my distro kid. I mean, not my distro kid. My Bandcamp. You can find my merch. You can find my SoundCloud. Everything is just on my social media. And yeah, you can just catch me. You know what I'm saying? If you in the town, catch me getting a chicken box or I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Follow me on Instagram at d._major music. Same thing on TikTok and Threads. Also on Twitter, d.mme. And if you're an independent artist or producer, project out recently, or content creator, whatever you do, if you're interested in getting on the show, hit me up on one of those platforms and we'll get you on. This has been another
Yeah.
episode of the Major Music Lounge podcast with your boy D. Dot and Luable, coming directly from Baltimore. Appreciate your time, my brother, and thank you for coming on, man.
Major Music.